Okay, guys. We were actually kind of dreading talking about this. Ted Cruz and his ridiculous claims as of late regarding the Planned Parenthood attack.
Ted Cruz, aka Trump Light.
Yeah. Although I will give him credit, he did disagree with Trump on the Muslim database thing.
Well, he was competing with Hitler on the world's best ideas. At that point in time, I'm pretty sure Ted Cruz had to run away from that statement.
True.
Like, that was just simple politicking right there. That didn't take...
True.
I doubt he probably would have stood with him if his constituents wouldn't have.
I just wanted to give him a little, just a little.
And that's why we call him Trump Light. He has his moments of political clarity, whatever you want to call it.
He is kind of running at this point on the hopes that he could be Trump's VP, because Trump has come out and said that, I consider Cruz as a VP. He's a great guy.
Yeah, and you've seen Ted Cruz throughout the entire presidential debate as it's gone on become more and more right-wing and have more and more crazy accusations that he just slings out to the left. Like, it's absolutely wild how Ted Cruz has been getting since he's seen the traction Trump has gotten from his crazy antics.
So, continuing on that, he, this guy came out and said that, the shooter must have been a transgender leftist activist. And his reasoning for that is because we know that he was a man registered to vote as a woman, and also that he was registered as an independent. Now, just go ahead and debunk that real quick. There's no other paperwork showing that he ever once went as a woman. That, for all intents and purposes, it's just a typo. It happens. I mean, my last name shouldn't be Saxon, it should be Saxon. But people confused my grandfather's signature to have a T in it. And now,
X. Yeah, that's crazy.
So now it's Saxton instead of Saxon. So these things
it's that simple, and it's been through his family line ever since.
Yeah,
like, it's that simple.
So now, after that claim has gotten debunked, although conservative media has taken that claim and tried to run with it, he went on.
Debunked by that guy's own statements, by what the police stated that he said with his own words. Not debunked by what we think he was doing, debunked by what actually came out of his mouth.
Yes. He then goes on to start painting Democrats as criminals and then saying most violent criminals are Democrats. And he said that... All right, so Ted Cruz on Monday went on the Hugh Hewitt show and had some other extra things to say about Democrats. So he said, here's the simple and undeniable fact. The overwhelming majority of violent criminals are Democrats. He added, the Democrats know that convicted felons tend to vote Democrat. The media never reports on any of that. It doesn't want to admit any of that.
Yeah, I heard that one. That's the one that I actually heard him say, like, in a report. Yeah, that... But if a Democrat was to say that about a Republican, World War III would break out, and they're trying to demonize the entire group, and you see how the horrible left-wing media spins everything against the Republicans. I don't like it either way. But... honestly, you can't throw that much crap around and expect not to get some on you as well.
Yeah, and it's funny that they're saying this, given that all the shooters lately have been right-wing shooters. This guy was a right-wing shooter. He listened to the things that he said. Carly Fiorina, who... I'm sorry, she's the mastermind. I think she has the most blood on her hands in this situation.
I agree.
All of these Republican candidates have said something ugly about Planned Parenthood.
And it's because the guy, the actual shooter, stated it's because he wanted them to stop selling body parts, child body parts. So he felt like he had to do something to stop the sale of child body parts. Which is not a thing, people. It's been proven. They do not sell body parts.
It's fetal tissue.
It's fetal tissue, first of all.
Completely different.
And secondly, it's for scientific research, things that are greatly needed in this country. When it comes to the tissues that you can get from a fetal embryo, they are the purest pretty much that you can get. You can make those cells do almost anything. That's the reason why they're so influential and so important. That's the reason why regular people should give up their embryo, their embryonic sac after their birth to science, because the cells inside that sac are priceless, for lack of a better term. So this is the type of tissues that they're getting from already aborted fetuses. They're not selling these. These are to save lives.
Yes, and we're going to bring it back to Ted Cruz here in a second, but before we do, I just want to say, and another thing with that is, they weren't selling it, they got money for shipping costs. That's it. So it's almost as if, you know, the foundation or whatever that the fetal tissue was going to was simply, I hate to put it like this, like buying something off Amazon and then
having to pay the shipping.
Just paying the shipping.
But that's the thing though, it's like, the reason why they did that, it was for a very legitimate reason. It's so that they didn't have to spend out-of-pocket money. They didn't have to find new funding to pay for those things when other people were requesting it from them. If you're going to request us for it, you've got the money to pay for it. All Absolutely. Of the other companies that wanted these tissues completely agreed with that. It's totally understandable because they're getting something for free that is very, very important to their research. The least they can pay is the $20 it takes to ship it. That's all Planned Parenthood was asking for, was a reimbursement.
And now, because of all of this outcry, they have decided to stop receiving money for that. And I think also shipping it, which
puts medical research back by years.
But anyway, bringing it back to Ted Cruz. So he said these things about Democrats, and it's really ridiculous, given, you know, all these shootings that occur, and they're I won't say all, but a lot of them have been right-wing activists, and let's call them what they are, terrorists. And the reason these so-called violent criminals that he's talking about vote Democrat is because let's be real, some of these aren't violent criminals. Some of them could have been wrongly accused. They could have been, as we talked about in our earlier video, tortured into a false confession of guilt.
Well, and not only that, before we even say any of that, there's no fact to this. There's no numbers. There's no data. There is nothing backing these claims. When I see Ted Cruz come up with some digits that I can go back to statistically look at to make sure they are statistically significant, that people who are in prison for violent crimes vote more for Democrat than for Republican. When I actually see that stat, I may actually say, hey, he might have some grounds to say that, but what's the context he's saying that in, which is what's more important at that point. But this doesn't even matter. What he said, trying to prove what he said or disprove what he said doesn't even matter. He has no facts. He's talking nonsense. You can't say these inflammatory, ridiculous things about people without factual evidence to back it up. It is slander. It's illegal. It's a crime.
Is, yes.
Like, just because you're running for president doesn't mean that you get the bully pulpit to say whatever you want to. Plain and simple. Sorry to cut you off, but before you went into, oh, well, maybe what he's saying might have some semblance of truth. No, it has none at this point because there's no facts.
I wasn't going to say that it had some semblance of truth. What I was going to say is that the ones who are considered violent criminals, who may not be violent criminals, of course they're going to vote Democrat. Why? Because Democrats are the party of people who want to, except for Hillary Clinton, want to really stop with all this wrongly imprisoning people and these what are they called, like private prisons?
Private prisons for mass incarceration for a profit. Yeah.
So that's where I was going with
that. Okay, excuse me. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I got that out there real quick because there's no way you can justify anything that comes out of some of these people's mouths because it's just absolutely ridiculous. So don't try to wrap your mind around that, people. Stay focused on the fact that they're talking nonsense and it needs to be stopped. Plain and simple.
And the transgender leftist activist thing, that's absolutely disgusting to me. Because now he's adding another boogeyman in a sense. And he's choosing a target that's really weak right now because it doesn't have a lot of numbers. It doesn't have a lot of support.
And especially after the year transgender community has had, with Kate Jenner, to go after them after, getting Woman of the Year and various things like this, which is controversial in and of itself. Like, it's been very tough. It's been a transitioning period for this country when it comes to gay rights, which has just happened this year, transgender, lesbian rights, the whole LGBT community. And then for you to just say, oh, the guy who committed this next terrorist attack, oh, you'll call him a terrorist when he's a transgender liberal leftist, but you won't call him a terrorist once you actually find out that he's a right-wing conservative Christian. Like, really, guy?
Yeah, it's disgusting. It really is. It's nothing more than that. It's just, he needs his ass beat. And I mean, like, he needs his mama to call him over,
bend him over a knee,
and just
cut it out. Just cut it out. Go in time out for a little bit, and when you thought about what you did, come back out.